The first section we're going to delve in today is the cosmos. Now, when we think of the cosmos, this is the entirety of the universe?
Yes, it is. The way we understand the cosmos right now is very different from how we understood it even in the time of Einstein. So 25% of the universe is what is called dark matter. It's material in the sense that it has gravity and it bends space-time, but it doesn't have a regular atomic matter. It's not visible. Mm-hmm. We don't know what it's made of. There are theories, but we don't know what it's made of. If you have two chunks of dark matter and they collide, they just go through each other. Mm. But in other ways, it behaves just like regular matter. It does not reflect light, it does not emit light, it does not absorb light, so it's invisible. 25% of the universe is invisible. Now 70% of the universe is what is called dark energy. And this is energy that repels space. Actually space, it's energy that makes space repel space. And the repulsion increases the further the space gets apart. So, and it increases exponentially, so space expands faster than the speed of light. This is 70% of the universe. Again, we don't know what it is. So that leaves about 5%, 70%, 25%. And of that, about 4% is hydrogen and helium, which are the first two elements. And then that leaves 1%, of which most of it, 99.9%, is basically interstellar gas, interstellar radiation, atoms that aren't really visible. So the visible universe, which means 65 billion galaxies that we know of, each galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars, and of course the stars have their own kind of solar systems, planets, etc., etc. All of that is 0.01% of the universe. That 0.01, which is 1/100th of 1%, that includes me and you, this book, the people who are watching us, television set, but also everything we see is the sky, the earth, the solar system.
So mostly we don't really know what is going on in the universe. It's not visible to the human eye.
Yes, most of it we don't know, but we know much more than we thought we knew in the past. And the way science operates is that you have theories, and then you do experiments, and then you make observations, and then you see if your observations match your theories, and if they do, then it seems reasonable. But with that, we now know that the universe, as we understand it in human terms, began about 14 billion years ago with something called the Big Bang. What was there before the Big Bang? The question seems irrelevant because time did not exist before the Big Bang. When the Big Bang occurred, which is 10 to the power of minus 43 seconds, 10 to the power of minus 43 means 43 zeros before the first second. So it's a fraction of a second. That period is called the Planck epoch. And we don't know.
What is that called? The
Planck epoch. That little thing. But we don't know what happened then, and we probably might never know, because the laws of physics as we understand them didn't exist then. What caused the initial episode that created both space-time, energy, information, and matter, we have no idea. Now there are many theories. So one theory says that the universe at that time, when it began, it had to be very precise in the ratio of particles to antiparticles, certain things called constants, like gravity, electromagnetic force, speed of light, many other things, charge. It had to be very precise, so that's called fine-tuning.
Okay.
And it was so fine-tuned that if it had been off by a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, then you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. There would have been no universe to speak of.
Well, see, it's interesting because you as a spiritualist are talking about the Big Bang Theory, which is obviously very scientific. So where does spirituality get woven into that?
Well, there's obviously design in the universe, but spirituality goes a little further. Is there a designer? Is there some intelligence? Is there some spirit? Is there some consciousness? Is there some God? Now, Leonard, my co-author, would say no. It just happened to be like that.
Just perfect circumstances.
Just perfect circumstances. And what they also say is that the perfect circumstances are one of an infinity of other versions. So there's one version called eternal inflation. It's like a cosmic Las Vegas where coins are going up and down, and if they come back heads, then the coins double. If they come back tails, I'm metaphorically speaking, then they halve in size. And if you have a series of tails, on and on and on and on and on, and then it gets to what is called Planck size. Planck size is the smallest size you can imagine. The coin is now 10 to the power of minus 33 centimeters. It's small enough that there's a little grid in the floor of the cosmic Las Vegas. It escapes eternity and enters in time, and it spins off a universe. So it's like what do you call the jackpot in the cosmic Las Vegas. So that's one version, and it's mathematically sound.
Okay.
So our universe, therefore, is one of those jackpots. There may be others, but since space is expanding faster than space, we'll never know. Space is expanding faster than the speed of light. These universes are spinning off in different directions, and we will never know where they are or what they are, because the movement apart is faster than the speed of light. But this is one of the jackpots. And then there's another version called M theory, which Leonard and Stephen Hawking believe in, which is a combination of multiple theories, and that says 10 to the power of 500 universes. So if you counted 10 to the power of 500, it would take you almost eternity to just do the counting. But that many universes. So, there are all these theories. To me, the fine-tuning of our universe, the fact that it's so precise, and the fact that there seems to be organization, the fact that every once in a while there's a creative emergence, the fact that it's an activity. You think of the universe as a structure, but it's not. Structure is fixed, and activity is something that's always changing, like a verb.
Right.
That everything is an activity, and you and I are an activity of the universe, suggests very much that there is an underlying field of intelligence, if you will. You say, how do you define intelligence? Intelligence is that which self-organizes, self-evolves, self-creates, self-regulates, and these seem to be things in the universe. The hemoglobin in your blood right now that's making us possible to have this conversation, because hemoglobin contains a molecule which carries oxygen. That has carbon in it, which came from a star, fell into the solar system somehow, and went into possibly a plant called spinach, which an animal ate or you ate, and now it's helping us carry oxygen to the to the brain. And there's all these very complicated things that happen and had to happen with precision, otherwise we wouldn't be here. So to me, and you'll see that in the book, for example, in the book we go over these sections. Okay, how did the universe emerge? Is the universe conscious? Is the universe evolving? So my answer to all these is yes. The universe came out of a field of intelligence. The universe is conscious. The universe is evolving. Leonard says, no, what is the nature of time? And, you know, what was there before time began? If there was no time, then the Big Bang happened everywhere all at once.
Okay.
That's omnipresence. It expanded from a dot that's about the size of a period at the end of a sentence to what is now over 47 billion light years across, what we call the cosmic horizon. Omnipotence. It did that in such an organized fashion.
That you think there has to be a designer of sorts.
Yeah, not necessarily designer as we think, some guy out there with a white beard. But yeah, it's an infinite intelligence in which all this happens.
Also, when you say...
Is the universe alive? Yes.
Yes.
If by alive we mean that which reproduces
always
itself, changing, thinking.
Right. Well, when you also think of intelligence, a lot of people think of extraterrestrials and is there life on other planets?
Yes, statistically it seems, yes, probably there is.
But it's not necessarily in the same way we think of a grand designer as a godlike figure. When we think of intelligence, it doesn't have to be the Martians with the green heads coming out and saying, beep, 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 take me to your leader.
Who knows, it could be. We have no idea, because everything that we imagine is also an activity of the universe. We're part of the universe, right? So where does our imagination come from?
Right. Okay,
so it must be an activity of the universe. And you know, science fiction always precedes science. So for all you know, there are these Martians elsewhere with little green hats.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think our understanding of the infinite intelligence that we call God expands more than anything else. So, you know, we had a very primitive understanding before. So the biblical understanding is a good mythology, as are all religions. They're good cultural mythology. Our science today is our best explanation, but it may not be complete. All I can say is that we do have imagination, we do have creativity, we do have self-awareness, and because we are an activity of the universe, these must also be qualities of the universe. Because how can an activity be there unless the whole has that activity too? Right?
So when you think about the mythology of understanding perhaps how the world began, or Jesus, or any of those things, there has to be seeped in some kind of truth.
Actually, yeah. If you look at the teachings of somebody like Jesus or Buddha or any of the great teachers, there were three things that are common. First is these great leaders, founders, prophets, sages, whatever you want to call them, they had an experience of the transcendent. Transcendent means they went beyond space and time. In their own consciousness, they felt connected to all there is. Secondly, as a result of that, they had what is the feeling of what we can refer to as platonic qualities: truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, evolution, that emerged later into some kind of morality, if you will. And thirdly, they lost the fear of death. And with that, they had a different identity. Now, they had this really profound experience of what we call transcendence, morality, higher values, platonic qualities, loss of fear of death, and they tried to explain it to other people. And people then, you know, it's like, I like that, but then they buy into the story without having their own experience. So that becomes religion. The religion is you buy into somebody else's experience instead of having your own experience.
So it's almost like the religion is the how-to path to receive your form of enlightenment or transcendence, because isn't transcendence pretty much the highest self-awareness you can have?
Right, but most people, yes, it is, but most people interpret it as if I am good, if I have the right moral behavior, if I pray, if I have faith, if I follow the 10 Commandments, then I'll have this experience. It's not that way, I don't think. It's the other way around. If you have the experience, you then become all those qualities.
That's very interesting.
And for that, you need to be able to go beyond your internal dialogue. For that, you need to be able to experience love. For that, you need to be, in a sense, not identifying with your ego personality. So there are ways, being, feeling, thinking, doing. But I don't think they're the traditional high and mighty, self-righteous morality, which I think is just jealousy with a halo.
I like the way you put that, jealousy with the halo. And it's also the social constructs that keep people in on their best behaviors.
Yeah.
I think it's a way to kind of keep society functioning
but then
and
the
peaceful.
social constructs should be a byproduct of the experience,
right.
not the other way around.
So people just have it a little confused.
I think so.
Well, in terms of cosmos, is there anything else that we really
No,
should
there's a
touch
lot
on?
more, but I think we've covered a lot.
We covered a lot.